For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The head of Russia's mercenary Wagner group is urging Ukraine to withdraw from Bakhmut as fierce fighting for the Ukrainian town intensifies. Ukrainian forces have reportedly blown up a railway bridge inside the city in a potential sign it's preparing to withdraw and prevent further encroachment into Ukraine. Ukrainian officials have also ordered a town in the Kharkiv region to withdraw as Russian forces are forging ahead with a new offensive there. Ukraine recaptured the area after Russian forces withdrew last year. In the U.S., the Environmental Protection Agency is ordering rail operator Norfolk Southern to begin testing for dioxins in East Palestine, where a train carrying toxic chemicals in Ohio derailed and the operator conducted a burn of the massive quantity of vinyl chloride in the tank cars. That forced the evacuation of homes. Elected officials and residents in East Palestine have been questioning why there has not been testing for dioxins, a harmful collection of cancer-causing chemicals that may have been released into the air when officials conducted the burn. Officials briefed the community in a town hall last night.
The International Agency on Research on Cancer of the World Health Organization does what's called IARC monographs. They've got a big section about vinyl chloride causing cancer in humans, 2 different kinds of liver cancer, lung cancer, neoplasms of the connective and soft tissue, that's the stuff that connects you, tendons and stuff, and other cancers. OSHA has rules. If you're dealing with vinyl chloride, it's so dangerous you got to put up this sign to warn your workers. The federal government makes you put up a sign that says vinyl chloride may cause cancer, which is why I'm a little worried about everybody coming in, oh, it's fine.
Scientists say burning vinyl chloride can generate highly toxic dioxins. The House Ethics Committee announced it's launching an investigation into embattled New York Republican George Santos. The bipartisan leaders of the committee announced the panel had voted unanimously to establish an investigative subcommittee. The investigation appears to be far-reaching. It seeks to determine whether Santos may have engaged in unlawful activity with respect to his 2022 congressional campaign. The statement also said the probe will review whether Santos failed to properly disclose required information on statements filed with the House, violated federal conflict of interest laws in connection with his role in a firm providing fiduciary services, and or engaged in sexual misconduct towards an individual seeking employment in his congressional office. The Justice Department says former President Donald Trump can be sued by injured Capitol Police officers and Democratic lawmakers over the deadly January 6th Capitol insurrection. The department's position that Trump does not have immunity in the case was laid out in a filing before a federal appeals court. The filing said although a president enjoys broad legal latitude to communicate to the public of matters of concern, quote, no part of a president's official responsibilities include the incitement of imminent private violence. By definition, such conduct plainly falls outside the president's constitutional and statutory duties, unquote. The Justice Department brief is separate from an investigation by a special counsel into whether Trump can be charged criminally over his efforts to subvert the results of the 2020 presidential election. An administrative judge with the National Labor Relations Board has ordered Starbucks to reinstate 7 fired workers. The decision says the company violated labor laws hundreds of times during a unionization campaign in Buffalo, New York. Senate Labor Committee Chair Bernie Sanders says the panel will vote next week on whether to subpoena the Starbucks CEO to testify before the committee. Republican senators charged the Biden administration is using a $39 billion bill meant to build computer chip factories to further so-called woke ideas, such as requiring some recipients to offer child care and encouraging the use of union labor. The administration has countered these elements of the funding guidelines to the CHIPS bill, announced this week, will improve the likelihood of attracting companies to build the semiconductor factories and people to work there, a key challenge that could determine its success. President Biden says he will sign a GOP-backed measure to overturn changes to the District of Columbia's criminal code. Tennessee's governor has signed a bill banning drag performances in the state. The American Civil Liberties Union says it will sue. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.